So my name is Varian Grant. I am the owner or co-owner and editor-in-chief of Last Call Comics. That is the big blinding booth out there. If you guys seen it, it's got the big scroll bar. Yeah, because I just want to stand out. That's all.
Don't look right at it. It's like looking in the sun.
I just have to stand out. The police aren't watching. You stand out. So. To my right.
I'm Chad Gibson. I'm the president and founder and just about everything that doesn't include a pencil or coloring for Sinister Undertone Comics based out of Flint, Michigan. No reference to the water there.
and here, hanging on to the coattails of fame.
That's right, because that's what I do. I'm Katrina Rosa. I am the owner and as well as an author and editor of Geek-o-Rama.net. We are an indie comic and game review site.
So she has we actually fear her because she reviews stuff and, if you don't pay her, I'm just kidding. She doesn't take bribes, I tried. So we're here today because the name of this panel is Don't Be Like Me, which Last Call Comics is not my first company. I originally had a company called Unlimited Psycho, CYKO, which was my first comic publishing company. Back when Chad met me, I had Unlimited Psycho, and I screwed up. I made horrible decisions, and because I had read books and I thought I knew what I was doing, I thought I didn't. And I really want to talk to you guys about what not to do if anybody's thinking about throwing their lives away and getting into independent comics, or just comic books in general, and what mistakes to avoid. I know that Chad can speak to a couple of them that he goes through.
Yep. See, Varian's got one up on me. I'm a writer, creator. I'm the idea guy. I'm the guy that comes up with the idea and sees it through to fruition. Issue with that is I can't draw two lines. So it's a constant hunt for talented artists, talented colorists, and past the talent is the ones that are actually committed to getting the job done. And that's extremely hard when you can't control all aspects of whatever it is you're trying to do. A lot like Varian, getting into this, I had no idea what it took to make a comic book. No idea. I was a huge fan of comic books, both DC, Marvel, Image. Actually, Image ended up taking the reins there for a long time. Because they were breaking the traditional rules of what comic books have been for so long. So I decided I get this idea in my head, and been an author. I started writing a novel when I was 19, and that kind of fizzled out, took sidetracked because I was 19, So anyways, I get this idea in my head one day about a vampire in Flint, Michigan. If you guys know anything about Flint, it's the most violent city in America almost every year going. So I'm thinking, wow, it's like a all-you-can-eat scumbag buffet. What a great idea. Not a superhero at all, not even an anti-hero like we've gotten to know how anti-heroes are. Because this guy, if he sees you and doesn't like you, he'll kill you. But for the most part, he's hunting down all the bad people that would be in Flint, all the people nobody would miss. So I get this idea, and I basically just stumbled through everything. Like, if there's a mistake that you can make in making your own comic book, I have made it. I don't know how I've stayed afloat, but somehow I have. I work extremely long hours at a day job just to basically support the family and this. I would have so much more money if I had not made all those mistakes. So I have definitely fumbled through just as much as Varian, if not more. Yeah, if not more, because I'm juggling 13 titles that I've got created. And I'm intermingling them all. I'm trying to do a lot of industry first things that no company's really done before. Such as if somebody dies, they stay dead. I love the idea of people actually dying and not coming back. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe passing the mantle, however they should do. So I'm doing that. I'm doing basically if a character shows up in one title that's from another title, both titles, that event is happening in both titles at the same exact time, just from two different perspectives of what's going on. Also doing stuff like coming up with a soundtrack for mood music for the books. So I've got my hands in a lot of irons and different fires right now is what's going on. And because I'm dabbling with music and dabbling with comic books and trying to make it all tie together at the same token, trying to do all the administration stuff. There's been a lot of mistakes made and a lot of, are we supposed to swear?
Does anybody
I'm
object?
fine with it.
Anybody care?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of oh shit moments.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh shit! I just fucked up big time. I gotta correct this like now. Like emergency. Like I can remember the first time going to print. Man, nobody, did you know what you were doing when you were taking your first book to print?
No.
Because I sure as hell didn't. And I can remember it was my limited edition of Karma. And I'm going to Detroit Fan Fair 2015, or 2013. And first book I've ever printed. And I come across this company called Print Ninja. I'm not slamming them at all, okay? They keep their costs low, we're doing whatever they do. But when you don't know what the format is supposed to be for getting these things to a printer to get them printed, and you're in crunch time, and you know you're waiting on everybody else to get their stuff done and uploaded to you, and then you got to get it uploaded to them, and then they come back and say, oh well, you know, it's the wrong format. Okay. Well, I don't know about you, but I searched and searched and searched for the proper format. Nobody could really give it to me.
Yeah. When I started my company, I got Unlimited Cycle. I saved up a ton of money. And I pretty much blew through about 35 grand in about 6 months. I brought in artists. The worst thing I did was, I thought, okay, well, I love comics. There's gotta be people out there who love comics as well. So I printed up a bunch of flyers with my company logo, and it said, you know, if you want to work in comics, you know, here's the address and here's the telephone number. I rented an office. And I took those flyers and I proceeded to litter them around town in every comic book store I could. Now, I didn't get as many calls as you would think, but the calls that I did get, and people who came in to meet with me, there are about, let's say 20 people came in. About 16 of them were horrible. Like, I mean, some of them had talent, but artists, and I'm an artist, we are inherently greedy. We put a very high self-worth on our art, which some of us have the right to do. I mean, it's good, you know, a lot of stuff comes from the heart when you're drawing. So I had artists that would come in and they would tell me, oh, I can't draw a page for anything less than $90 a page. They'll come in and they'll tell me, well, you know, Jim Lee is getting $400 a page. And I tell them, sorry, you're not Jim Lee. And they get mad. They call me all kinds of names. I mean, the worst thing you can do, I think, is don't go on social media. I mean, you can set up a social media site, but don't go on it because they will tear you down on that. I mean, and the artists that I hired, a lot of them, they were stealing from me. Again, I had an office that was overhead. It was, I think at the time that office was $8.25, you know, a month. And so I wasn't plain comic publisher. I had an office. I had, you know, a whole bullpen set up. So, you know, my expenses were pretty high. I had artists stealing paper, stealing Bristol board, other stuff. They were just taken out of there. And when you're losing money like that, and you're constantly having to buy new boards, I was giving the boards. That was yeah, because I was giving the boards, I would make a copy of the artwork and return it to them. But I'm a bad guy, because, you know, when you run out of money, oh shit, like Chad said, we're out of money. And when I blew that amount of money that quickly, I had to put the brakes on it. But it's funny because a lot of those guys and girls who were working for me, they did that year had went to our convention. We're from Michigan. I think everybody was panels from Michigan. Yeah. So there's a convention there called Motor City Comic Con. A lot of them showed up, and they had their own companies. There's about 3 of them now. So some of them I'm okay with. You know, you guys did your thing, and I understand you had to leave. I can't pay you. But there were a lot of them who they thought that I was hiding money from, that I must have been a millionaire, and that wasn't the case. I had a guy. He was my computer guy. And that's another thing I'll tell anybody. If you're gonna run a company, try to learn. Don't delegate something out to someone unless you know how to do it yourself. If it's, from your website design, your social media, try to learn everything yourself, because that way you don't give somebody else a power over you. I had a gentleman who was doing a book. I left it up to what I thought was my right-hand guy. This son of a bitch. he went to the book and he took out the ads that are supposed to be in there so that he can launch his own company in my book and the back page. But Karma's a bitch. No pun intended. No pun intended. His name is Karma. and he spelled the website wrong in the ad.
His own website?
Yes, his own website. So, that was my, FU to him. I don't understand. And that's the thing. He was trying to start basically a solo company. You have an idea, you give it to him, he's going to do your coloring, your lettering, he'll even do your pencils. But yet, you can't put your website right in the ads you hijack in my book. So, that was funny that he did that, and he fucked that up. He couldn't even do that right without me. So, and if he sees this video,
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sure you had some experiences like that.
So to speak on what Varian is saying, you always, if you are sitting at the head of the table, make no mistake, and this is going to sound really tyrannical, unless you're sharing that power and you guys have created something together with somebody, but if you are, and even then, no matter what, make everything 100% legal. I mean to the T. Hire a lawyer. Don't try to do it yourself. Hire a lawyer, make sure that make sure that lawyer represents you. Not everybody involved represents you, okay? Because you need someone to protect your interests. It sounds like I'm in a law firm commercial.
Contracts especially are not only just to protect you as a publisher, but they protect your artists, they protect, so that everybody is covered.
It's
Black and white, everybody knows.
Yep, exactly. There is no getting lost in translation. This is what it is, but that's why you should have your own lawyer protecting your rights. They can draft up everything, and if they want to take it to a lawyer, that's on them, right? So that's probably the biggest thing that I can say that I have learned throughout the whole journey, because I've had artists where I have in my contract that you sign, it literally says you get paid for finished approved work. Now there's a very good reason for that. If I hire you to do a 24-page book, to draw a 24-page book, you get 8 pages in and you decide you're just done with it. I don't know, you just struck it rich and you're done, right? Then you come along and you're like, well, I'll take the book. Well, you can't take over and draw his style, because everybody has their own style. So to the reader of the book, to the fan, they're going to be flipping through. They get to they go page 8. Oh, that's really cool. Page 9. What the hell just happened? It's a completely different look. You can't do that in this book. And I've been in knockout, drag-out fights with artists over this. And it's like, listen, I get you want to be paid for the work that you did, but nobody paid Michael Jordan to practice. Okay, so that's another thing that people need to realize when you're doing this, is you are going to have artists, if you don't draw yourself, or if you're an artist and you hire a writer to write your scripts, okay, they do not get paid until you approve the final product. Because otherwise, they can jump ship at any time, and then you just forked out a ton of money for something you can't even use. And I had a lot of artists that would sit there and I would say, hey, Varian, dude, I do this at every con. I try to recruit artists at every con, okay? Hey, so you're interested in drawing a comic? That's awesome, man. I'm actually hiring right now. And flipping through your book that you brought here, you got some really good stuff. So I'm gonna test you, okay? This is what I want you to draw. Varian comes back, he emails me the stuff, and it all looks great, right? Okay, great. So you pass the test. This is the book I'm thinking that I want you to draw. Because remember, I got 13 titles, not just one. Okay? So I assign him a title. Okay? I need you to draw this character now. Okay? Now my 13 titles all intermingle, so you have to be able to draw every single one of them, right? Doesn't have to look exactly the same, but if you see Wolverine drawn by one artist, and Wolverine drawn by another one, you definitely know it's Wolverine, right? So you need to be able to make that correspondence there. Well, all of a sudden, Varian draws that character, comes out looking like junk. Or maybe it's okay, but we're particular. If you're an idea guy, you know exactly what you want it to look like, or at least have an idea. I've had artists blow my mind and come up with their own version, went with it. But I've had to go back and forth to where I'm critiquing what they're doing before giving them an actual issue to do. And then they start getting mad because they're not getting paid to do this. No, you're taking shots still. You're still practicing your three-point. You're not in the game yet. So you will feel bad at times doing this. But you have to take your emotion out of it when it comes to this. This is the administrative part. This is the managerial part. This is the boss part.
It's still kind of the auditioning portion.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. If you take it into, I don't know, all those singing shows that are on, okay? So you're in the final three. Doesn't mean you won the prize yet.
You don't recognize him, it's too soon for that workers.
Not ready.
But that's perfect. That's a perfect way to put it. You're still being tried out,
As I know as an independent guy too, we don't really have we have shows like this that, cater to the independents, which is great. The other big opportunity you have is you have reviewers like Katrina, who you can give your book to, and she can read it and tell her audience, hey, this is a good book, you should pick it up. Should be nice to these people. Don't try. I'm not telling you to give your book away to them, but
hold on. Can I interject there?
absolutely not.
Well, no. This is actually good for you.
I was segueing to it. You said way too after that. Go ahead.
Well, my point is I'm just gonna be real quick. Don't be greedy with your product though, because a lot of times you're gonna want to be sitting on it because, well, they're not buying it. Why should I give it away? The reason why you should give it away a lot of times is because you got to think of everything in dollars and cents. So if you can give away something that costs you maybe $20 to make, okay, or in the case of comics, a lot less than that, and you give it away to someone like Katrina, who has an audience of how many?
We have, it's in the thousands. I can tell you that. I don't know the numbers.
You do the math. The advertising cost for that right there, it's a no-brainer. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So don't get too greedy with your stuff because you can be your own enemy too.
And then, Katrina, you've had some experience with independent guys. Maybe selling you $10 for a pair of edge Did you purchase?
You mean trying to sell me?
Yeah. Did you got a chance to go there? You explain some of that. What advice would you give to someone? Did you tell them not to do? Because
This is the one.
this is a negativity panel. This is not positivity.
What I would say is, I can't say it in the not format.
You can cuss it.
No, I leave that to you guys. I'm the good one on the panel.
And that's why we drink.
My general advice for anybody with a product, whether it's a comic or it's a book or posters, whatever you're doing, don't put out shoddy work. I attended a show a few years ago where the guys handed me a book to review. I took it home, I read it, looked at all the art, looked at all that. I'm also an editor by trade, so I am looking at things like grammar and punctuation and all that stuff. And my came back with, the story's good, but it's not ready for print. It needed to go through a proofreader and that kind of stuff. And the response I got, and these guys are still friends of mine, we became friends afterwards, but his response is, well, the show was coming up and we wanted to have product on the table. That's never a good reason, guys. Because what I said to him is, I said, you've got a comic for $4. I'm assuming you're going to make more comics after this. you know, you want to make this a series of 6 or whatever. If I pick up a comic and I've spent $4, and like everybody else, my money is as hard earned as anybody's, and I spent $4, I want a quality product. Because if I take this $4 book home and I flip through it, and I'm seeing mistake after mistake after mistake, it's either going in my comic box never to be looked again, or in the trash can, and you're not going to have a repeat customer. And what you guys want is you want those people who looked for you at shows. I did the editing on a book, and we had a guy who came back the following year, who said, because the company I was doing the work for only put out 1 issue a year, and it always premiered at this one particular show, and this guy came back 3 years in a row, because the quality was there, and the story was there. And so that's what you guys want. You want the repeat customers. So put the time and effort. If you have a show coming up and you don't have the product done, go to the show, set up your table, and promote. You know, maybe have some posters from, you know, or have some, you know, some like first few pages samples. So you have some, you know, get people excited about it, and say, you know what, guys, we want to put out the best product possible, so we don't have it here today, but we will have it at such a show, or you can go to our website, or you can go to, you know, any place, you know, that they can get the book. You know, it's going to be at your local comic store, you know, because I know some local comic stores who have indie sections, you know, and that's, you know, and don't be afraid to go to your local comic stores and say, hey, you know, I have this book, you know, if I give you a copy of it and you like it, or, you know, would you guys be willing to carry 3, 4, half a dozen copies on your shelf?
Yeah, I want to deal with that. I want to say that, you know, sometimes there's the best piece of advice I ever got was at a panel much like this one, and they said, if you're interested in getting the comics, and everyone here can do it, when it comes to pricing your product and your comics, think about your favorite comic, or like a t-shirt, what's your favorite character, comic character on it, and what will be a good price for that shirt. What the price you have no problem shelling out for it. Then he said, now take that price and cut it in half. And that's about the price that you want to put your shirts up for, because you have a character on it and no one knows. No one's invested in that yet. So you end up being the cheapest girl in town. And, you know, you end up having, you know, like, you might not make enough money, but people are walking around for stuff on it. And as long as it's quality stuff,
Right.
like your shirts aren't ripping and tearing on, like the first wash, like the shirt that is what off eBay did. Pay $20 for that shirt. It's you should be fine. You know, I would tell anybody here again, watch out for artists. I mean, and I'm an artist, but artists in this industry are known to do some really, really shiesty shit. They will, like, I had an artist do his pencils, and I said he wanted to get paid for his pencils. I said absolutely. You know, bring the artwork in. And 2 things started to happen when you tell somebody, bring the artwork in. They started to use like a pawn shop. Okay, I've done 2 pages. You promised me $20 a page. I happen to need $40 for my phone bill. Here's 2 pages, give me $40. And then they go out and they take that $40 and you don't see them for weeks. And then, yeah, phone bills do. And then, oh shit, I gotta get paid.
Don't be afraid of deadlines.
Yeah.
You know, I've known a lot of people who work in the industry, and you can't be afraid of a deadline. You know, whether it be for your artists or your colorists or even your editors. And I will say this: if you don't have an editor, get an editor, get a proofreader, because, and I say this as a writer too, and you know, as a writer/editor, it's hard for me to even say it to myself, that you look at something so many times, your brain will fill it in. And so you get somebody to look it over for you that, you know, is going to go line by line and detail by detail. I did the editing on a book, and I don't do a ton with art because I'm not an artist, but I know what looks good and what looks a little funky. And the guy drew, it was a picture of a guy in a hospital bed. And, you know, like, kids are supposed to be up under the chin. And to me, it looked like a guy in one of those heavy winter, what do you call them? Sleeping bags, you know, kind of come up and around the head. And I said, is he supposed to be in a sleeping bag in that thing? And he's like, no, but I'm glad you noticed that. You know, and when I look at stuff, I will look, you know, for those kind of details. You know, is the light in this panel in the same exact application as it is in this panel? Continuity matters. You know, I say some people read it, they won't even notice. But you have people like me out there who are fans of the industry, who are fans of what you guys are doing, who are going to notice those details.
And you can try, I think the worst thing to do if you're gonna start your own company, especially if you have to hire other artists, other writers. I tried a policy once where I had people, the worst way, the way to get someone to work, especially a creative type person, is to threaten their bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them, okay, if you don't get this done to me by this amount of time, I'm gonna deduct this from your pay grade. Well, they got to the point with my first company where people actually owed me money. But what had happened was, they figured this, okay, if you're gonna take money from me, I just quit.
Yeah.
I won't do it anymore. And so you have to find some other incentive to get them to hurry the book. I think, Chad, you did a bonus.
Yeah, I had, I did the same thing. It didn't keep going down. It was like,
I could have won that.
yeah, to me, I was scared of doing the exact same thing, of having happen what happened to you, but I never really went through it. I had, where basically your page rate went up. I always have 30-day deadlines. The way I look at it is that gives you, my books are 24 pages, so that gives you 6 days to not have to draw anything if you don't want to. To be honest with you, I've seen artists, and I know I'm not one, but I have seen many artists crank out 2 to 3 pages a day without even thinking about it, you know. And I know being creative, you have your blocks and stuff, but you can always move past that. So I had a bonus. If you hit 15 days, you had the book done, then your page rate would go up, and every page that you did would go up by that page rate, of course. But if you were late on that 30 days, then it would go down, you know. But it only went down once. Like, I didn't keep deducting because I knew I'd fall into that.
Yes, yeah.
But, you know, right back to what Katrina was saying, you know, don't be afraid of a deadline, but that's exactly where make sure that you have everything legal and legit. Because if you have everything contract out, you know, I say, hold on, you remember signing this, right? You read it? Oh, you didn't? That's not my problem. You signed it. It was all filled out before. So you can't be afraid to do that. Something I will say, and this is something that I'm extremely guilty of, and something we were actually talking about earlier today. There's a fine line in pride. You can't be too proud, but you can't have any pride either, you know. So there's got to come a time where, you know, like Katrina was saying about the editor, it's hard when you're writing something, you're creating something, to have somebody come at you and say, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, or that doesn't look right, or I would change it to this. If you have somebody on staff that you trust, I mean, don't take anybody's word from it from somebody flipping through your book, okay, that's out at the table. That's not the way to do it. But if you should have a circle, you know, if you do this long enough, you'll get a circle of people that you can trust. And you can trust their opinions, okay? And you gotta be able to have arguments with these people, disagreements. And everybody involved needs to know that this is gonna happen. It's what needs to happen to progress to the next stage. Okay, you need to have confrontation to have growth. So anyways, have somebody be able to come at you and be like, listen, I would change that up because it just doesn't look right. That will save you so much time in backtracking that it's not even funny. Just by having somebody you trust that can jump in and
And don't look at it as an editor as an enemy.
Yeah.
Or a proofreader, because at the end of the day, their job is to improve your product.
Mhm.
They're part of the team that says, and for me, I understand that this is somebody's baby. But for me personally, it becomes partially mine too, because a lot of times my name is going on that. You know, it's an inside cover as the editor. So I have a reputation that I want to protect just as much as you do. And I only want the best to go out there. So, my job, when I'm doing editing, is to just help you have the best possible product. Am I going to say sometimes things you don't want to hear? Absolutely. But, and sometimes, you know what, you're the editor's the bad guy, because it is your baby, and you don't want anybody to say anything bad about your baby, you know. You put your heart and your soul and your blood and your sweat and your tears all into this, and they come back and go, yeah, that one panel just doesn't work. And sometimes that means a panel has to be redrawn, or rewritten, or relettered, or something. But at the end of the day, this is a team trying to get the best possible thing out there.
Now, I'm gonna be the Chris Hardwick of this whole panel, and I'm trying to control the flow.
Oh, okay.
So, I know she's been diligently writing stuff down.
Yeah,
She
Probably
has
got-
been an avid
she's-
note taker, and I'm impressed.
She's probably got questions.
I
Someone here has questions.
said, I'm the same way. I sit in panels, I've got notebooks full.
So does anyone have any questions? Like things that we maybe didn't cover, or that you had questions about? But,
If not, I have another topic.
yeah, I just want to make
You know,
sure.
nobody has any questions?
And if anyone has questions, then have to put your hands up. Thank you.
I have a comment,
Yeah.
kind of. You reminded me of something when you said, when you were commenting on how many customers, such whatever, I forget what it was. It reminds me of like, do you watch Futurama?
Yeah,
Do you remember the Poplar episode?
no, I don't.
Well, they had these things that they were selling, poplars. Their food it turned out to be aliens, but anyway, baby aliens. But they were selling them for, let's say, $5 per order at a little stand on a corner. And then someone comes, he's like the CEO of Fishy Joe's Restaurants that has at least one restaurant on every planet. And he says, oh, well, you remember they were selling them for $5 per order. He's like, well, I'll take this, I'll sell them for $10 an order and give you $5 an order. You know, that. And then the viewer is probably supposed to think they're not getting anything extra. And I'm thinking, he's got at least one restaurant on every planet. You're getting a lot more customers.
Yep, and that's
Than just being the guy.
And that's one of the things that ties into my whole pride comment. You know, if you're too prideful, you're like, I ain't giving you shit. Buy it. My stuff's worth it. I put a lot of work into this, a lot of time, a lot of effort. Buy it. They are. It's just not with money. And you've got to think like that. You gotta sometimes take the personal out of it and put the business up front. Because come down to it, she writes an awesome review. She's got thousands of people reading that review. And if you're smart enough to be online to where people can get to it without having to show up at a con, it's instant. They're all flooding to me now because she liked my book. But
And because we always link back to places that, you know, if he has a website, you can order on the website, we'll say, here's his website, here's his Facebook page, go check those out. And I would say that, you know, I have run into this with people, you go to their table, and I do my little pitch, talk about what we do. And to me, I look at it as it's good for both of us. You know, you give me your book, which I understand costs you something. Don't get me wrong, I understand that. But then I take that, and with any luck, I do promotion for both of us. Because I will do your review, we'll link you back. Everything that hits my site also goes out on Facebook and Twitter. And it may start going out on Instagram. Now that Instagram has made it easier to flip between accounts.
yeah.
Without having to log in and all that. We now have, the site has an Instagram account as well. So you're getting out there into multiple platforms. And then if you like what we've written, with any luck, you'll take that to your site and say, or, you know, your Facebook page and say, hey, you guys see this review? Which then pushes traffic back to me. And I have some people, you know, think about it this way. I may not be giving you cash, but I'm giving you my time. Because I have, currently I have a staff of 13 people that work and write for me, or do various things, from tech to everything. And I sit down hours and hours every week to download comics, to, you know, organize files, to do assignments, you know, to make sure all the posts are going up on the site, to edit, you know, the reviews that have come in. So I may not be giving you, you know, cash, but, you know, obviously time is money. You know, and I'm taking my time and I'm dedicating it to promoting your work. You know, you can't get, your free marketing is really tough to come by. And essentially that's kind of what I'm handing you. Or for the cost of your, you know, $5 comic or your $20 novel or, you know, whatever you have. The only thing that we don't touch is art. Because I have had artists come to me and go, would you review my art? No. Because I don't have an art background, you know, and art is very subjective. What I like, my 15-year-old will be like, oh my God, that's awful, you know. It's, you know, we don't touch art, but we cover pretty much anything else that's geek related. I will say this, guys, and this isn't from an indie standpoint, this is from anybody who ever has a table at a convention standpoint. I have a policy, because the guy who runs this one, super nice guy, told me that there was no way I would talk to every table this weekend. There's no way I was gonna do it, I wouldn't have time. And I said, now you have to understand. Now, if you're just selling art, I'm probably not gonna stop by your table, unless it's Sunday and I'm looking for something. But if it's Saturday, I'm gonna come up to, and if you've got a book or something on your table, I'm gonna come up to your table. You've got about 20 seconds to look up and talk to me. If you are constantly looking down in your lap or focused on, you know, it's not, if you're talking to somebody else, I'm not gonna like walk away, I'm not obnoxious. But you need to connect with your customers. Remember that your job behind the table is to promote and sell your product. And if you are not looking at and connecting, I was at Gen Con back in August, July, and there's this super nice guy back in the artist alley, and I sat there for a few minutes talking to him, and he said, do you have any advice? And I said, smile. If you look like you're pissed off to be here, nobody's going to come to your table, because they don't want the guy who might bite their head off for asking about their product.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I understand we all have bad days, and we're taught, every one of us will come away from this weekend tired. You know, for me, I spend 8 to 10 hours a day walking concrete floors. You know, to the point where I would like my feet to fall off because they hurt so bad. But, you know, I'm out here to network. You guys are out here to network. If you guys get things like my business card or any press business cards, it is never too early to start your press list. Even if your press list is one person, and use that press list. You know, even if you only send out like a once a month email that says, hey, this is what we're doing right now, guys. Our site has a weekly Kickstarter promotion slot. So if somebody's got a project on Kickstarter, they shoot me an email or one of my staff guys an email and says, hey, here's the link to our Kickstarter. Would you mind, you know, promoting it? And for the course of that entire week, we promote your Kickstarter for you. It goes up on the site, it goes out to our social media, you know, and says, hey, check this out. So it is never too early to start that list and use your list. You know, send out announcements. You know, you got a new book coming out next month? Let them know. We post press releases from time to time on the site. We see something that looks really cool. And, you know, and then again, that goes out to people. You know, and this is gonna sound weird, maybe. One of the other pieces of advice I have is use your friends.
Use everybody.
You know, you have a good friend. You have a friend who's really good with grammar and English and all that stuff. Say, hey, I've got this book. Would you mind looking through it? If you can't afford to hire a proofreader or an editor, you know, say, hey, and you know, and in exchange for, you know, I'll give you a copy when it comes out. You know, I did a book, and the guy who writes the books doesn't credit his editors in the book, but he dedicated the book to me as an awesome editor. You know, so and you know, and make sure that you give credit where credit's due, even if it's just like on your Facebook page or something. Say, you know, this, you know, we've got this really awesome artist working with us. I just want to, you know, go check out his work, you know, or this person did this really awesome thing for us, you know, because sometimes it's about more than just the money. Like, I don't get paid for what I do, so it makes me feel really good when I see, you know, somebody like Varian or somebody who says, hey, have you seen her site and what she's doing? It's really cool. You know, so don't let pride get in the way of, you know, say, this is all mine. Because at the end of the day, unless you are one of those amazing people who can do it all, and they exist, you know, you've got help. You know, and so, you know, don't be afraid to say, hey, this guy's doing this really cool thing.
Yeah, there's pretty much like, if I had words of advice, if I could list off 3 topics. Keep everything legal. Don't be too prideful, but have enough pride. Because don't give it out to everybody, you know? Give it out to the people, give it out to the people
Yeah, at
that
the
you
end
need.
of the day, you are trying to sell a product.
You know, and then, you know, don't be shy. She's right. You know what I mean? the more of a salesman you can be, the more successful you will be in this industry. The more people you can talk to, and here's the deal. Every one of us in this room is very eccentric. Everybody out there is very eccentric. This is not your typical people just walking through. We're comic book people, man. We all have our own little quirks, right? I have had people, as you come to my table, I got freebies. I don't know if any of you guys have been to my table yet, but I got freebies. I got free art for people, little teasers about the story. And I can tell you, I have walked up to people, hey, how's it going? This is about a vampire in Flint, and had people just literally like, and part of you is like, you rude son of a bitch, I'll knock your head out. But you're like, wait a minute. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that dude, but on to the next. Here comes somebody else. So don't be, again, it ties in with don't be too prideful, but you can't be shy.
I see a lot of like badges around here, just like ours. So I know a lot of guys, like you guys are exhibitors.
Unless you're, condo badge.
Yeah, I know where you got that from. But I've had situations, and I had one recently. I was at a show in Chicago, Wizard World Chicago, and the gentleman sitting next to me was making a craft item. Now he's very hard selling, because he was like, "Hey, you want to buy one of this?" I might for my mother. I'll think about it. Wasn't really sure I wanted to buy this item. I'm not gonna say what it was because he makes a one-of-a-kind item, and it was. My mother doesn't like it, but the son of a bitch made it, and I didn't tell him to make it. He figured my mother's favorite color was because he asked me questions, and I'm talking. So he hands me it. Here you go, and I'm like, how much is it? And he's like, $25. Well, I added extra color and sparkle, so now it's $35. So I take up the tailpipe, I give him $35 here, give me this little bitty bottle. I put it to the side, and I don't make any more of it. Now, and by the way, at that point, too, he's done with me. I never felt more used in my life. He doesn't say anything to me for the rest of the show. Now, a little bit later, his girlfriend shows up. And she's talking about art that she likes over at some other guy's table. And he's like, yeah? She's like, yeah. He's like, well, go over there and see how much it is. So she comes back. She has the art. How much did it cost? $15. And this
person.
Did you tell her that you were friends with another exhibitor? So you want your girlfriend to get a discount, but you wouldn't give me one. I see, said the blind man.
That goes really well with my kind of number one, is that just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick, people.
All day long.
Because at the end of the day, as big of an industry as this is, it's a small industry. And a lot of people know a lot of people.
Yeah, I see it again.
Well, and I'll be honest, there's one guy out there, we review everything, whether it's kids' books up to horror, adult books. There's one guy, and again, we'll go nameless, for the sake of professionalism. But there's one guy out there who I reviewed one of his books, and I saw him at another show, went up, called him by name, said hi, we were looking at, I was looking at his stuff, and he was talking about, maybe sending me something else to review, and I said, oh, that'd be great, I love, when guys are doing well, and they've got 2, 3, 4 things out there. And he had this really cute children's book on his rack, and I said, well, what about this one? And he looked at me dead in the eye, in the snottiest tone you can imagine, says, oh, we don't need your help to promote that one. And my response was, in my own head, you don't need my help to promote anything. I won't work with you again. Because you've now left a bad taste in my mouth. And as part of that, I'm no longer unbiased. Because I will always look at your name and go, yeah, it was that guy. And so you gotta watch, we were talking earlier, I was talking to somebody, if you're gonna burn bridges, make sure that you're okay with those bridges being burned. And remember that, a stone in a pond causes ripples. So, and you never know. I've been to bigger cons and bumped into celebrities in elevators,
Yeah.
you know, or been talking to some guy and realized that he's like the CEO of a big publishing house. And I don't know, we're just having an elevator conversation. So you don't always know who you're gonna be who you're talking to or who you're bumping into. So make sure you're not leaving a bad taste in their mouth. You know, be the best you can be, you know, when you put your stuff out there. You know, and the don't be a dick thing is like a rule in my house. I have 2 teenage boys, so it's just like, I just look at them and go, don't be a dick.
You know, there was an incident with me again, just about convention etiquette. Some people I used to work with, you mentioned it earlier, go to a con, take your flyers, your posters, get them out to people even before you know, if your book isn't done, go ahead and do it. And make sure your book's coming soon, but, you know, well, I did that for Last Call Comics. I put up, I started giving out flyers to sample art. One of the guys that I had worked with, it was, you know, my limited cycle company failed. He went to his Facebook and he said, I knew it was directed at me. He said, what kind of a publishing company doesn't have any comics? Which I thought was, wow, that's pretty shitty. I know you're talking about me, you know, so.
Yeah, and the thing is, generally, if you know they're talking about you, or you know they're talking about somebody else does too.
Well, yeah.
And you're making, and realistically, and that's what I will say with social media, because we all know social media can be the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. Be careful what you say.
Yeah.
You know.
I simply like the comment, and I made it loud for everyone. I like the comment. I just push like so it says, I like the other you talking about me. But the funny thing is, see, they can say that as long as you make sure that you got everything taken care of. You know your book is coming. You got your website. You got your
Please have a website.
social media. Yeah.
Please have a website, guys.
Because I can tell you this. Those publishers, me again getting the rocks back at them. Where's the cameras at? And those publishers, even though they said that about me back then, now they're saying, hey, welcome to the new home of our comic book character, which is not here on Facebook, because we lost our total website and someone squatted on the name that may or may not have been me. But anyway, you know, I like that. But, you know, but now they want a website and they don't have a website anymore. So now they want you to come to Facebook. Well, Katrina's not going to take you seriously if she can't go to your site and find, you know, www. A lot of people out there might not take you seriously if they can't go to Facebook is nice.
And yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I said, social media can be the best and the worst, but you need to be there.
Yeah. And Facebook is nice, but you need to have that. Like, I mean, like if you get into a situation where you're selling more comics than, or you move more comics than you can make, and you have to go to a bank or something to get them, you know, to get funding, that bank is going to say, "Where's your website?" I have Facebook. Okay, you can go out the door. You know, so because you invested you haven't invested any money, so. Social media, watching what you're saying on social media, because they can definitely come back. And then you have some asshat like me sitting at a panel saying, you know, at the camera, you can't do anything about it because I'm talking about you. But I won't say your name. So.
Yeah, I mean, I sat in a panel not too long ago, and there was a guy asking, you know, and it was the bizarrest thing because it was a comic panel, and the guy wanted to become a composer, and was asking about all this music stuff, and we were all kind of confused. But one of the things that was said on the panel, we have a website, right? Well, no. It's square one, people. You have to have a place to send people, you know? And if you get big enough that you're going to be doing orders and stuff like that, you have to have a place to do that from. You know, Facebook is not the place to be ordering your comics from. Yeah. I've seen a couple of smaller publishers try to pull that off. Well, message us on Facebook and we'll get a book out to you. No, guys, that's not what Facebook is for. You know, your social media is brilliant. I mean, we are on, like I said, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. You know, like I tell people, if you cannot find me, I don't know what to tell you. Because, you know, and we have a site, you know, spend $5 on a domain name, people. You know, it's not hard. I mean, and realistically, and I'm going to be honest, and I don't know if this will make me look good or bad, but when I first started Geek-o-Rama, I was on Blogger. Blogger is a free platform. I spent $10 on a domain name and pointed it at Blogger, so that when they were doing all my hosting for free.
But you learned how to do that.
Oh, I did that, and I do everything. And I agree with them. No, you don't have to be an expert, but know enough that you're not gonna get screwed over.
Well, even if you don't know, because as long as you have it under contract,
Well, yes.
that in other words, so no one can take your website by hostage.
Because they will try.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
It is one of the first things people go after.
Oh, absolutely. If you got somebody in charge of your social media or anything electronic, like I have my own app out, to be honest with you guys, I have a website, I have all that. And the first thing that's gonna go, first thing that's gonna go is if me and the person that's doing my website, my app get into it, they're gonna try to lock it up on me.
My staff will tell you I'm a control freak. I 100% control freak.
I mean, you have to pretty much.
And you have to almost be, to
Yeah.
some extent, because this, whereas these guys, their books are their babies, this site is my baby. And I've spent years building the site's reputation and my reputation within the industry. And like I told one of my staff guys who wanted to start doing interviews at shows, I said, you practice on me. I said, because it took me years to build this reputation, and you can blow it in 30 seconds. And once that damage is done, you can't undo it.
It spread like wildfire through the industry.
And everybody will know, this is the guy, I had a guy who wanted to do some interviews, and I said, you submit me a list of questions. And half his questions were on topics that I never ever would ask people about. We also do a really bizarre interview process. Varian has sat through it.
I was a victim to it.
I asked 2 really random questions about anything. I asked Varian what his favorite Power Ranger was. And my third question is your chance to promote your product. What are you out here doing this weekend? I tell my guys, we don't ever ask about religion. We do not ever ask about politics. And we do not ask about anything that is at all controversial unless it is somehow directly tied to this person. Because,
That's all stuff I'd be asking you to ask me.
I said, this is why we've never done an interview. It's weird. But because again, I don't want that reputation as being the troublemakers in the industry. We have a reputation for being fair and for being honest, for being great to work with. That's the reputation I want. And protect your reputation. If you have to be a control freak to do it, then that's what you need.
Now, where can these fine folks find you?
www.geek-o-rama.net. And I have business cards up here if anybody wants one afterwards.
Yeah, they're in my table too.
And he has a stack at his table.
She directed me. Like, if she'll deduct the lashings I take, how many cards are missing. So that's good. And then where can you find you at?
You can find my app on Android or Apple. It's just Sinister Undertone Comics. Website's under construction right now because it's going through kind of a change with that whole.
Do you have one of those really cool under construction gifts, like from 1995?
No, I've got just a picture of Karma with a body floating in the water underneath.
Okay.
It's Bible.
So you definitely know you're in the right spot.
Well, I mean, that's important too. Don't be afraid to brand yourself.
And then Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. One last point though, when it comes to the interview, don't seriously, don't take it personally, and don't react too quick. Take a minute to breathe. I've got 2 very different books out there. I've got Karma, which is about a vampire in Flint. It's got a lot of dialogue in it, right? Then I got a book called The Seven, which is about 7 government-paid assassins. Now, my whole idea for that book was I wanted to read a lot like an action movie, and I don't believe assassins should talk. It's not part of the job requirement. They should be exactly the opposite. They should be quiet until the job's done. So the way the book is formatted is a little bit of dialogue in the beginning. I've got like maybe 2 out of the 7 assassins that will say like maybe a word or 2 here or there. And then the rest of the book's all silent until you get to the end where they're debriefing, right? Had somebody in Chicago review my book and pretty much was, they must have bought it and I didn't get a chance to tell them how it was supposed to be going, because they were like, yeah, there's barely any dialogue in the book and blah, blah. I'm like, it looked great, is what they said. Well, oh man. So the 20-second rule, 100% right. As soon as somebody comes in, and you'll see it, if you got a buddy sitting at your booth, and they're sitting there talking to you, and then all of a sudden somebody comes up, oh, I'm sorry, they'll back off.
Yeah.
Good ones, good ones.
Yeah, and you'll see, you know, if you see me around the convention, it's not, I gotta hang out behind their table, or if I've got other friends. Guys, my feet hurt, I need to sit down from time to time.
Yeah. You know,
So I'll sit down, and I may sit back for 10, 15 minutes or whatever, but you got something, your job here is to sell your stuff, not to hang out with your buddies.
Yep.
and
So, you know, just say, excuse me for a minute, and turn your attention. You know, you don't have to be, again, don't be a dick, but, you know, remember why you're here.
now, as for me, Chad tried to cut my segue off. That's okay. As for me, you can find me, I'm Varian Grant. My company is www.lastcallcomics.com. I'm on Twitter at Last Call Comics, Instagram, all that good stuff. Or you can find me, just Varian Grant. I'm all over the internet too. I don't think I have any warrants out there, so you shouldn't find any of that.
You're not on any, like, certain websites, right?
No.
They should not be looking on, say, like, the sexual.
I think I'm on Tinder. I think I'm on Tinder.
You're on Tinder.
But that's very, now, and then there's one other thing, I mean, because we're wrapping this up, but there's one other thing too that we'll tell you, Chad and I have been talking about it, and I know since a lot of you guys already have your exhibit badges and whatnot, one of the biggest problems in our industry is marketing. And Chad and I have been discussing putting a program together, and it's called IOI, or if you stretch it all out, Independent Over Industry. It's something where we're working together, where it's basically all of us little guys looking out for all of us little guys. So you come to my table, for instance, right? I might have a little handout that has some artwork. Might be one of my characters, might not be. On the back might be a 10% off coupon, something like that. We'll have a map of the con where every other IOI member is stationed at. So you come to my booth, I give you this free coupon, right? You can take that coupon to any other IOI booth that you can take from the map, because the maps will be given away too. Take it to Varian's table, for instance. You find some at Varian's table, you get 10% off, whatever, but he gives you another handout. And he's made one big piece of artwork. Yeah, it's like let's go Easter egg hunt, people. But yeah, we're running into a situation. If you're an independent person, this is something else. Don't stop being creative. Don't let your creativity stop at what your product is. Make sure your creativity is bleeding into how you sell your product. Because what we're finding, what we have found is try going to a Wizard World as an independent. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Your wallet is very sore at the end of it. Not the opposite. Not what you're thinking of going into a Wizard World the first time. It's the exact opposite. Why do I want to go again? So, because everybody's there to go get every autograph they can get. Or to get their Spider-Mans, or their Batmans, or their Supermans, or their Spawns. All these big name books, right? They're not looking for you. But you'll see this all day long. Wow. It's really cool. It's a great book. What's it about? Oh, that's an awesome idea. Thanks. And they walk away. They don't buy it. Well, if we could cross-market each other, drive more traffic to each other, and maybe give a little bit of an incentive on why they should buy from one of us, it might get you a little bit more business coming in.
And that's not to take away from what you're doing, because I love that idea. And that's one of the things, you know, to watch it. As a review site, we have a Friends of the Site section, and it lists the publishers that we work with on a regular basis. You know, as another way of people to go, hey, who do you guys like? And I'm like, it's right on the site. Go click on it, and it links all to everybody's websites. And to you guys the social media, the website is Geek-o-Rama.net. All of our social media is Geek-o-Rama.net spelled all the way out, because Geek-o-Rama seems to be taken everywhere. I don't know by who, since I own the domain, but it's
very catchy.
It is catchy. The day I went to register the domain, I was ecstatic that it was available. And ours is a .net, because somebody is squatting on .com. And I will not.
It's not me, I swear to God.
I know, notice I kind of looked over to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'd tell it to you if it was me.
But yeah, we would have it talked. You're my might find it a long drive back to Detroit tomorrow.
So,
But, yeah, and I'm just not willing to spend like the ridiculous amount of money that somebody wants. I'm like, you know what, we're good as a .NET. And even if I bought the .com, I would just redirect it to the .NET anyway, so.
So if anybody wants to hear more about IOI, we actually have the domain set up. You can reach me. I'm Varian at theiogroup.com. Chad's Chad at theiogroup.com.
And you have business cards with you as well.
Hey, well, that's for something else me and Chad are doing. Me and Chad are going to save indie comics.
we're trying.
We're
Oh,
trying.
wait, that's the other thing, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
Where's
okay.
my kid?
Yeah, we're trying.
I was mentally cross-marketing or something.
That's
I
okay.
don't know
Go
what I was
ahead.
doing there.
We're trying to save indie comics because, we're involved in this industry. And frankly, I love comics. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I can smile because I'm involved in comics. I hope nothing else I'm talking about.
You're fine.
Is this keys? Okay.
Just keep
All right. So I'm glad that I work in the industry. I can smile because I work in comics. Some people have to go to, jobs that they hate, and I get to sit in the drawing board and draw and be creative, and, that's cool to me, My mother thinks that I should find a regular job. I won't. So, a real job. Yeah, real job. But, if anybody wants to do that, me and Chad will be out there. I'll be here tomorrow. Chad has to go back to Michigan tonight.
No, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Getting drunk tonight, going back tomorrow.
Make sure you do it before 1 a.m.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for coming out.
If you want to
everybody.
know the inside jokes, stop out at one of their tables and they'll fill you in.
Yeah.
As to what it means about.
Unless you have any questions, we'll stay behind.
Actually, I do have another question.
Sure.
I commissioned an artist. This is.
Uh-oh.
I think she's making a big mistake, and maybe I made a mistake in this. But I commissioned her in December, and I don't think she's purposely trying to rip me off because she actually gave me free art prior to my commissioning her. I didn't ask for it. I don't ask for free art, but she did it, and then I eventually commissioned her. I gave her $40. That was in December, and she still hasn't done it. She keeps coming up with excuses. She lost her glasses, so she can't see. Her tablet. She lost her tablet pen. And meanwhile, she's also still begging for commissions. She's saying, well, she can't work on mine because it was going to get digital art on her computer. But she's doing like actual physical pens. And I know that that's different because she couldn't find her tablet pen supposedly. But it still makes me feel...
A stylus is like $3.
Yeah. But it still makes me feel like crap. I'm still waiting on mine 4 months later. And she's asking for more commissions. I was ready to, if she had done this in a reasonable time, even up to a month, I would have considered a very reasonable time.
Yeah, and I have artists who have wait lists.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, it's
exactly.
going to be 6 months before I get to your feet.
Exactly, but I was ready to throw, a bunch more money at her because I have a character I want art done of. If she had done it in a reasonable time, I was ready to get like 20 or so pieces of artwork from her. But I probably, after I get this, I don't think I consider myself mad at her. I'm just frustrated, and I'll, when I get it, I'll be happy, and I forgive her, but I'm not going to commission her again.
Yeah.
Again, burn bridges.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, a couple of questions right back at you. Is this a character that you're trying to develop a book or a story about?
No, because then I would have mentioned, do I have rights to it? But no, it's just for my own personal.
Okay.
'Cause,
So because it's something like that, and this is what it's telling me. At first, when you first started talking about it, I was like, okay, well, artists are fickle people. She's bounced around.
Hey, I'm right here.
I know. She's either gaming, she's watching movies, she's watching anime, she's doing something. She's bouncing around. But because she's asking for more commissions, what it's telling me is that she agreed to it, okay? But now she wants more money for it, but she doesn't want to ask for more money.
Huh.
So she thinks that the project's been lowballed. And I don't think she's mad at you, I just don't think she doesn't want to ask for more money. Or to reject, or to say that she doesn't want to do it for that amount. I've dealt with it.
I was going by her pricings. I said, what would this cost? I described it.
I can tell you pretty much exactly what happened. Somebody else commissioned her to do something that was either easier or about the same skill level, or higher. So all of a sudden she went, boom, this is how much I'm charging from now on. but she's already agreed to your price. So, but she doesn't know how to come back and tell, she doesn't know how to negotiate.
Should I offer her more money? Get
I
this
would-
done- get this
I
done?
wouldn't even do that.
Absolutely not.
I would say, what's the deal? Do I need to find somebody else to do this? You don't have to be mean, but you can be assertive.
I already gave her my $40.
Well, you may have learned a $40 lesson.
Yeah.
Well, you know, or I'm gonna ask, did you pay her cash?
No, it was PayPal, and
In
that's
which
one of
case,
the.
you can very possibly, if she does not, contact her and say, look, it's been this long, I think I'm just gonna have somebody else do it, I need you to refund my money, and if they don't, you can, I believe, set up a dispute through PayPal to get that money refunded, because you did not receive the product that you paid for.
Well, I don't think the money can be returned because the reason I paid her up front is because I wanted to make sure I was able to give her the money before I had her do any work. I thought that I was doing the best thing. I wanted to make, because I'd never sent money via PayPal.
Okay.
I bought a, credit card, prepaid thing, and then hooked it up to my PayPal,
Okay.
so I don't think money can return to that card.
Yeah, PayPal, you'd have to check, but they might not, that's because you got that prepaid card.
Because it was
Well, hold on, PayPal can give you a credit. So you
That's
can
true,
have
they
a
can,
credit on
they
your
can just put the
PayPal
money
account.
in your PayPal account, so then you could then use it for other things.
And I will try to contact her first and just say.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
contact her first, don't just all of a sudden be like, hey, we're disputing this.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
But
Yeah.
I was, at this point, if you know, when you set up the deal with her, did you give her a timeline? Did you say, or did she say, I'll have this for you within,
I knew she had 2 or 3 commissions before me, so
Okay.
I was fine with, like a month, maybe even 2.
Well, then,
but-
I think at this point, I would contact them and say, look, I need this by X date, or I'm going to have to go with somebody else.
Again,
Give her the opportunity, but be assertive, be firm, and just say, look.
one of my 3 things, don't be shy.
Mhm.
You gotta, this is one of those things where, it's not for a book, but this is one of those things where you gotta put the business in front of the feelings.
I have been kind of, I don't want to say, I've only been mildly kind of saying, hey, you haven't forgotten about me, have you? Stuff like that, because I don't want to be mean. I'm honestly not mad, I'm just
Right.
frustrated.
Right,
But-
but I think you've now exhausted I'm kind of being really nice about this and tiptoeing, and now you just need to be direct and assertive and just say, look, I paid you for this, I need you to do the work.
Mhm.
And if you're not going to do the work within a reasonable amount of time,
And to be honest with you, it's gonna be hard to say something like this. Hard to really wrap your head around it probably, but you might be doing her a favor.
By dropping myself.
By coming down and saying, what's going on? You might be teaching her a lot lighter a lesson than somebody else might teach her down the road.
Like him.
Oh, no.
before she's
It's not from Flint, dude. Come on now, what's that? What
before
are
she
you
runs into a challenge.
I also would, it might even be good for me to tell her, look, I was gonna, get a bunch of work done from
No,
you.
no, at that point, you know what, at that point, she's gonna, okay, here, I would just, if you can get the artwork done, that's fine, get the rest of the artwork done by someone else.
Get it and walk away.
Because she would have learned, now she learns a lesson, I could have got more from that person, I could have gotten more commissions from
Well,
that.
she knows I was planning on a lot more.
Yeah, she knows that.
Right, and so if, then if you don't come back to her for those, she's gonna be like, yeah, maybe I should have not sat around.
And then you can always go back. You can look at it in a year or so when she's got her shit together, you can go back. But
Yeah, exactly. So what I would do is if she's got it done, cool. If not, you learn a $40 lesson. I've learned a lot more expensive ones.
I don't have a job, so it really sucks.
It's-
Oh, I know.
I have to totally understand.
But then you commission other people to do it. You got social media, right?
Oh, yeah.
So as you get these pieces of art back, put it on social media. Just got my commission piece for this. Boom.
So she sees me going to other
Oh
people.
yeah. So now she's seeing, wow, I just missed out on an opportunity, but you never rubbed her nose in it, So now if you go back a year from now,
Again,
she'll know that you mean business, you're playing ball.
Mhm.
She'll be a little bit more
That's
serious.
a good idea.
Does anyone else know you guys? Any more questions? I see you guys impatiently, I didn't wanna.
no, she's done, she stopped taking notes.
Yeah, she's taking no time.
She doesn't want to hear anymore what we got to say. Her pen ran out of ink or something, she's like, I'm done.
That's all she asked for, he's the.
She got writer's cramp over there, she didn't want to talk anymore.
Hey, well, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, much appreciated.
But yes, the these guys are here, stop by the tables if you have any other questions. You may find me at a table,
Yeah, somebody
Or-
said,
somebody's table.
yeah, but she sits,
I find chairs, I just take them.
she hijacks them.